Okay. This is a deeply symbolic moment for me. It's a big deal for me. This is the fourth video on YouTube, or intended for YouTube in the red. And I need to talk about abortion. And that is so huge on so many levels. And symbolically, it means a lot right now because, for Stella and a boar, a new pig in the family, and ejecting from the movie in my mind, and Stuck in the Story No More, and women's rights to decide for themselves how to be in their own body. And I've had one, and I have a lot to say about this. Life is messy. It just is. And we're never gonna ever get away from that. That is true. And the reality for me is that the way to exist within that, and the only way, is to be like, have it, I don't know, it has to be okay. That it's messy. It's messy. And chaotic and difficult, and you are always going to have to do things you don't want to do, and have experiences that you don't want to have, and make decisions you don't want to make, and know when to abort certain missions that you've already completed and fulfilled, or just don't want to be in anymore. I think the judgment that we all have on this messiness is just the death of us, really. It's ridiculous, I do want to talk about, actually, my experience of getting an abortion when I was in my early 20s, because it's a tie-in here in a big way, and I want to tell you what it felt like, not some argument about the double standard and all of this crap. I have more to say about that in a second, in my own way, but I think that the way to talk about these things is about what they feel like, not what our idea of them is. I don't think that reaches people. And I did get pregnant when I was in my early 20s, and I want to explain this way. For many years prior to this event, I knew that this was going to happen. I knew that I was going to have an accidental pregnancy no matter what I did. No matter how safe I was trying to be, no matter how much I tried to protect myself, that this was part of my destiny, that I was going to have to face this. And so I did the Sleeping Beauty story and did everything I could to avoid it, and I still got pricked by that. Your fate is your fate. And I knew it the minute that it happened, and I just couldn't believe it, that all of this effort to try to avoid something like that happening, it still happened. And I was a kid, and I wasn't ready to have a baby, and I wasn't ready to grow a baby and then give it away for adoption. And everyone has their own understanding of what they can and cannot do and should not do, and we're entitled to that. And the most excruciating part of this is that, I knew right away. I knew instantly that this was it. It caught me. And, you can't even take a pregnancy test right away and have it tell you. You have to wait until the cycle's fucking ready to tell you that you are. And I took pregnancy tests every day from that moment on until 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, whatever, when it would let me know that I was. And I felt it in my breast first. I knew it before the test knew it. I knew it before the test knew it in my heart, my soul. My body knew it before the test knew it. And I had to wait, and I had to wait, and I had to wait. And then I got the results. So then I could go to the doctor. And then I could go to the doctor and say, I have a problem. I want to do this immediately. I don't want to do this either. Like, this isn't my ideal situation. And they said, you have to wait. I have to wait 5 weeks. 5. Because if you try to irrigate the system before then, it risks not actually irrigating it enough, and it has to be 5 weeks. So knowing that you're pregnant as like a young 20-something gal, and the way I am, and my body changing and everything, and feeling it so strongly, knowing like I have to just endure this like situation until like I can fix it or whatever. It was brutal. Yeah, it's so bad, painful. And they were really gentle with me and kind with me, and they put me to sleep to do the actual procedure. And I woke up, and when I woke up from the anesthesia, it was just crazy. I felt like it was an incredible difference. I felt that I was no longer pregnant. Like, it was just this insane hormonal and pivotal and spiritual and just ultimately deeply physical switch. And it was dramatic, and it was really mind-boggling and hard. And I've never regretted that I did this. I made the decision that I needed to make. I have no shame about it at all. I just prayed from that moment on I'd never have to be in that position again and make that decision again, because it was right for me, but it was really hard. And I remember driving home after the procedure and throwing up, having to like throw up out of the car because all that anesthetic makes you barf. And I went and I did a play that night. I took a nap, and I did a play in which I was naked, basically, and strapped in a thing in front of people. Cardenio, just before making a movie called Wilderness Survival for Girls. And I made peace with that decision, and I got my dog. I got Kopi because I needed support, and I needed to be able to love the way that I'm capable of loving a baby or anything. But I wasn't ready to be a mother at that point in my life. And I know there's this intersection where where there is an actual soul inside of you. I've been pregnant now. I've had 2 children, and I know that point when all of the cells come together in just the right way and just the right place and time, and the soul of the entity that you're growing can start to inhabit it and inhabit the experience of being in the womb. And I want to say, I know that when I had an abortion, that was not happening. It was cells dividing, moving, trying to create the skeleton for whatever, but it wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't. And I bring into the world what I'm supposed to bring into the world, when I'm supposed to bring it into the world. And it is my body. And this all goes back to the judgment about whether or not women should have the right to get an abortion is absurd to me. And I like to think about it a little something like this. And I have for a long time. Imagine this. Okay, so a man, women too, who are like against pro-choice or whatever, but I like to think of it, I like to imagine it as a man because it's fun for me. Let's say you wake up one morning, right, and you get out of bed and you just haven't like noticed your feet on the ground and like on your toe there's like this little tiny growth like on your toe, and you're like, the fuck is that? That wasn't there last night. And it's like a mole or whatever, and you're like, ew, I don't want that there. And you look closer, and let's say you realize that it's actually like a little amniotic sac, and like in that is like molecules and atoms and cells and things being all pushed together because a baby one is going to grow there or whatever. And you know, you didn't sign up for that just because you like had sex the night before. And, you know, if you knew that was going to happen, you wouldn't have had sex the night before. And let's say you were having this total moment of like, holy shit, you know, that's going to be a baby. Like, that's a lifelong commitment. And if I let it be, it's going to grow. I'm going to have to carry around this. It's going to grow. It's going to grow. I'm going to have to carry it around on my body for like 10 months. And, then I'm gonna have this baby and I'm gonna have to take care of it. And I guarantee you that any one of us, like a huge part of the population, other than those who are really trying to have a baby, would instinctively pull the fucking thing off. Like, just no, I don't want to do this right now. They would just get rid of it because it's external and you could. And I do picture this with a man because I picture that like that would be the reflexive action of all of us, you know, if it's not the right time. And, you know, a man needs to understand that. You would do it too if it wasn't right for you. And it was your body, and that it was going to affect your body. Are you coming in for this? Because I'm talking. You want to come sit with me? Thank you. I love him. That's Chris. Perfect timing. But, you know, again, just needs to understand, like, why are you leaving me with a barking dog, dude? Come on, baby. Come here. This is so crazy town. I can't. She needs. But you see, like, you would do it too if it wasn't right for you. And the judgment about all of this is not based on anything other than control of women and their bodies. And that's, again, I gotta reiterate that, like, I don't blame men for this. Like, we're all a product of this. Some of the nastiest defenders of this are women. And why? You know, nature sometimes has to destroy itself in order to create the right thing at the right time. And I have had the right things at the right time. And that's been hard. There's been lots of suffering and things involved in getting to all the right times for the right things, and that's fine. And we shouldn't have to defend ourselves anymore for these decisions, you know, to know what we're capable of or what's right for us. Darla really hates having to fucking like beg, you know, for understanding. It's not cool, dude. And she really hates it. I gotta let her out. I gotta stop this. Hey! Come here, babe! The dogs are barking. I don't know what to do. I should end this, but I just want to say one last thing that it shouldn't be about women's rights anymore. It shouldn't even be a fucking conversation, wow, about it anymore. Like, this is my skin, okay? And it's on me, the whole birthing everything. So every time a woman gets pregnant, then when she doesn't want to, or when she does, a man also is going through that same exact process, because it takes two. It always takes two. So it's not the woman's unwanted pregnancy that she's then defiling and like, I gotta stop. It takes two. It's just always on the internal side that it gets really hard to get out of the depth of it, you know. I gotta stop. 4 and I just do whatever.